What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react to some new drama around the Canada US trade relationship. And for once, it's drama that I actually kind of like. Apparently, thousands of Canadians are signing a petition to get rid of the US ambassador to Canada, Pete Hoekstra. And, whether you're Canadian or American, if you've ever seen this guy talk, this should not be surprising at all. Like, I have actually done several videos just about Pete Hoekstra here, about some of the crazy, ludicrous, out of touch things that he has said. I like to refer to him as the official US embarrasser to Canada, because that's what he is. He's embarrassing. And it's not even just that. He's extremely damaging to our relationship with Canada and the American our reputation. It's like he's actively trying to ruin our relationship. It's crazy. If you've seen some clips of this guy, you'll know what I mean. So today, I really want to learn more about this. I want to learn how Canadians apparently want him to get lost finally. So let's take a look.
I want to just acknowledge our great ambassador. Is he doing a good job?
He's doing a good job.
But according
Oh, give me a break. Man. And you can tell Mark Carney doesn't mean it. Or at least I hope he doesn't. You can count on Donald Trump to just not a genuine thought in his head to say, like, our great ambassador to Canada, isn't he doing a great job? He's doing a horrible job. And, like, as the president of the United States, Trump should know that. But of course, but Pete Hoekstra, like, sort of kisses Trump's butt on a lot of. So I'm sure Trump is thinking he's doing a swell job.
I want to just acknowledge our great ambassador. Is he doing a good job?
He's doing a good job.
But according to a petition on the parliamentary website, many Canadians don't agree.
No way. This is, man. Because for a lot of the crazy stuff that's happened between the US and Canada, like, I know I've said the phrase, like, I can't believe this is real life. Like, this is crazy. What's going on? Like, many, many times in the past. I can't believe this is real. In a good way. I'm delighted.
As of Monday afternoon, tens of thousands calling for Pete Hoekstra to be kicked out. Whether it's retweeting Trump's 51st state threats or inviting...
He did that? Oh my God. I didn't even know he did that. It never ends with him. It literally. Why does anything surprise me anymore? I don't know why. He retweeted Trump saying 51st state. That's all you need to know. As if you needed anything else. Now you know he's a certified moron. Wow. Because he's done a lot of interviews, which are actually like comedy gold. Except for the fact that what he says has real world consequences. It would be amusing, like, how incredibly backwards and wrong his thinking is, except that it really matters. He's in a position of power that really matters, and he's a representative of the US. So in that sense, it's not funny at all, but it's just crazy. And yeah, of course he retweeted 51st State, because of course he agrees with that. As the ambassador to Canada, you're retweeting that you agree we should like take it over, that Canada should be part of the US. Basically, one of the most offensive things you could possibly say to another country. That's the best we can do? Like, you don't even have to be Canadian to think that something horribly wrong is going on here. But um, I'm glad Canadians are doing this petition. Americans should have a petition too, like, because he's actively hurting us.
Or inviting a convicted Ottawa convoy organizer, Tamara Leach, under house arrest to his July 4th bash.
I'm not going to try to analyze Canadians anymore, okay? If they want to be mad about the sectoral tariffs, which are totally legitimate.
Hoekstra has drawn
It physically, whoo, man. Everybody, whip out your blood pressure medication altogether. If we have to endure any more of that. Yeah, like just these utterly tone deaf statements that half of what he says is totally wrong. The other half of the time he acts like it's really annoying. He acts like he's totally baffled by Canadians' response to U.S. threats, to U.S. Trump's tariffs, and just our overall aggression towards Canada. We do all that, and this guy, our ambassador to Canada, has the audacity to act totally confused, like, I can't even try to understand Canadians anymore. Who knows why they're upset? Like, can't we do better than this?
Hoekstra has drawn the ire of many in the country.
I'm disappointed that I came to Canada, a Canada that it is very, very difficult to find Canadians who are passionate about the American-Canadian relationship.
I mean, you can't make it up. He started that by saying he's disappointed that he came to Canada. Well, you know what? I think Canada is way more disappointed that you came to Canada. That's finally something we can all agree on. We're all disappointed that you came to Canada. We can all agree on that. And then there he goes again. Like endless examples of him just scratching his Band-Aid head. Like, how? That's probably why he has the Band-Aid, because he's always scratching his head like, huh? Like, what? I can't find any Canadians who are passionate about the U.S. We just want to tariff you and tax you and take you over. Why can't you get passionate about that? I don't get it.
He does express frustration, exasperation, grievance with Canada that Canadians find bizarre.
Thank God. Okay, thank God. Somebody, I'm with my people now. Someone who like can. Yes, that's a good word for it. Bizarre. His behavior is bizarre. It makes no sense. It almost makes me think it's an act. Like he's pretending to not understand so he doesn't have to address the reality. But is that giving him too much credit? Because to put on an act like that means you have to have half a brain.
Because we didn't start this, and we're not looking to push it. They are.
Although the U.S. State Department has announced a new era of American dominance, in fact, about half of U.S. missions lack any ambassador, including countries like Brazil, Ukraine, and Saudi Arabia.
It's quite painful for someone like myself who spent 38 years in the diplomatic corps.
Some ambassadors have close ties to the U.S. president. His son-in-law, Jared Kushner's father, Charles, a convicted fraudster in France, and Kimberly Guilfoyle, ex-fiancée of Donald Trump Jr. in Greece.
This is the best we can do. Like Donald Trump's ex-son-in-law's ex-wife's boyfriend's sister-in-law's nephew? Like, who are these people? What are their credentials? Why are these our ambassadors? No wonder we ended up with Pete Hoekstra. Now that I see some of our other ambassadors and how they're chosen, it's all becoming very clear how we ended up with this madness.
The message coming from the White House is a harsh one, but this former diplomat says undiplomatic messengers can make it sound even harsher.
I'm not sure if it was Will Rogers who said it, but diplomacy is the ability to tell someone to go to hell in such a way as they look forward to the journey.
Indeed. The stuff that Donald Trump is saying to Canada is already incredibly disrespectful and hurtful, harmful, and crazy. We don't need an ambassador that just amplifies that message.
The U.S. Embassy says it has no comment on the petition. In any case, it's on.
Of course. Of course they don't have a comment. Because there's no comment, no rational comment that could be made to defend the American stance on this. Pete Hoekstra shouldn't be the U.S. ambassador to Canada. So there's no comment to be made other than, yeah, Canadians are probably right about this one.
Likely to lead to any real world actions, just more evidence of a relationship that soured badly. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Ottawa.
Yeah, that is very sad, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, Canadians are creating a petition, but it's not this is not the Canadian government who chooses the US ambassador. It's the American government. And the American government, led by Donald Trump, is as likely to like roll up your petition and smoke it, which would explain a lot of his decision making. Roll it up and smoke it as likely as he is to read it and understand it, or actually like take accountability for this, because this is clearly Canadians sending the United States a message, a very, I think, reasonable message, if nothing less than very passionate, that you don't like this guy and you don't want to work with him. And we as your friend and ally, we should accommodate you on that. But that's the whole problem with this whole situation, is that what we have to deal with here is Donald Trump and the people he selects. That's the whole crux. None of this would even be happening if not for that. So I don't think it's going to change, unfortunately. That is true. So this is the petition. Ha! E7531. You can probably Google that to find this. Petition the House of Commons of Canada, that's the Canadian government, right? U.S. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra has repeatedly made public statements undermining the Canada-U.S. diplomatic relations. I agree. Including characterization of 2025 Canadian federal election as anti-American. He called the Canadian federal election anti-American? I mean, Mark Carney becoming the prime minister, some of that had to do with an anti-American response to like Donald Trump and his threats. So, characterizing the Canadian federal election as anti-American, funny enough, that's probably accurate, but Canadians would probably say, yes, we're anti-American in that we don't like what you're doing to us. That's the intention. We're electing people that we hope are going to help us fight back against America. So, characterize Canadians as anti-American all you want, but Canadians have all the right in the world to do that. I mean, it's justified. Maybe anti-American is too strong. Maybe it's like anti-Trump or anti-American trade aggression, anti-American annexation, because I know Canadians don't hate all American people, I don't think. Ambassador Hoekstra has normalized the Trump administration's threats to Canada as the 51st state. Absolutely. That's something. I have literally seen video clips. We saw him reposting 51st state. This is one of the most egregious. This alone is grounds where he should be fired. I agree. Ambassador Hoekstra has accused Canada of interfering with U.S. domestic policies. I think he's talking about the tariff ad from Ontario or something. While he himself making repeated interventions in Canadian political discourse, inconsistent with diplomatic protocol. Everything he does is inconsistent with diplomatic protocol. Man, I used to not be aware of any of this stuff. So I know 99% of Americans don't even realize what a buffoon we have as our ambassador, just making things worse. Inconsistent with diplomatic protocol. No kidding. Ambassador Hoekstra has been linked to Michigan-based voter ID app used by the Alberta Separatists Project, claiming no knowledge of its use. So he's promoting like the Alberta separatist thing, like wanting Alberta to join the US. And then he acted like he had no idea what anyone was talking about again, as he does. The Alberta Prosperity Project met with US State Department officials 3 times. Hoekstra claimed no knowledge. So he actively is like campaigning for parts of Canada to leave and join the US. And then when anyone calls him out on that, he acts like he has no idea what you're talking about. We, the signed residents of Canada, call upon the government of Canada to declare Pete Hoekstra persona non grata. I guess that means fired. Request his removal as U.S. Ambassador to Canada. Raise with the U.S. the pattern of conduct by Ambassador Hoekstra inconsistent with the Vienna Convention. And direct a parliamentary committee to review U.S. diplomatic interference in Canadian domestic affairs. Wonderful. I agree. You don't have to be Canadian. You just have to watch this guy screw everything up, embarrass the US, cause turmoil and chaos, and be a stooge of Donald Trump to agree with all this. And I have that in spades. I have done that. You can sign this. There's a member of parliament here. Whoa, 150,000 signatures. Oh my God. 150,000. I thought it was a couple thousand. 150,000 signatures. Oh my God. That's a lot. And I bet it's only going to keep growing. Yeah, I like this. This is amazing. It's funny because like I said, I've done videos on this guy. And I've said a lot about this guy and how much he's hurt the US and Canada and how he literally does the opposite of being an ambassador. So, from the American point of view, from the Canadian point of view, this guy should go. Love this. Love that this is a thing. That's awesome. So, anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on this petition to get rid of Pete Hoekstra and your thoughts on what if he deserves it, or that'd be cool, especially if you're Canadian, to hear your perspective. That'd be cool. And if you're interested in more videos like this, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.